You're not alone. Together we rise. Together we rise. You're not alone. Never alone. You're not alone. Together we rise. Together we rise. You're not alone. Never alone together.
This is the Never Alone Together podcast with Ian Hendry and Gary Everett, bringing special guests on each week to share their stories of mental health struggles and to give hope to many who are going through dark times.
Hi guys, this is episode 1. Our first guest is Richard Dickie Thomas, who is going to share his unique story with you all.
Thank you, Richard, for coming along today.
Thanks for inviting me, boys.
No
Appreciate
problem at all.
it.
It's just a pleasure to have you here, and this is the first podcast of the Never Alone Together.
Yeah.
We thought we'd ask you on because you're a good friend of ours.
Yeah,
and,
I appreciate it, guys.
We know a lot of experiences you've gone through.
Yeah.
Would it be all right to ask you a few questions today?
Yeah. As I said, I'm happy if you to ask me anything really, and I'll try to be as open, as honest.
Yeah.
To you as I can be.
That'd be brilliant.
I'll start you off then, Matt. And now, what your personal experience is with mental health in general, and has there been a time in your life where you have had to face your darkest fears?
As I said, I never really realised I had mental health, really. It's always something that was never discussed. It was when I was a child, my parents separated when I was quite young, and I was having a lot of these flashbacks and stuff like that. And to be honest, to this day, I still don't know if the flashbacks are real or not. Yeah. And that was my first experience of thinking, is this what am I experiencing? What is these feelings I'm having? It's and when you're a child, it's difficult to comprehend really what was going on and if the feelings were real or not.
Yeah.
And as you get older, obviously you start learning more things about life, and I know as you get older. But it wasn't really until both my grandmothers died in 2007. It was it was quite a dark place really for me, and it was I started having all these palpitations quite a lot and very, very anxious. And it was the next thing you know, I was having a reaction. I was coming out and all these blotches on my skin and stuff like that. I thought, what's going on? I didn't really know again, what it was, and what was all these stuff going on, and it's the way your body reacts to stressful situations.
Yeah.
And then different things happened in your life, and then in 2017, then I was I got married in 2016, and then the lead up to the marriage, I started having these issues, pains in my stomach. I thought, God, is it anxiety again? Is this anxiety, pains, worried about, everyone it's because it's such a big event, So I was like, oh God, is the anxiety coming back? The feelings I've been having all these years, Yeah. And so I was going back and forth to the GP, and they said, yeah, you've got your anxiety's come back. We want you to go on medication, and I'm a bit skeptical because I trying to do things myself, and if it was something like anxiety, to help myself before taking medication. But I kept on, and in the end, I said, look, okay, I'll start taking the medication. And then the actual medication again, this thing where my skin came again, and I just all come up, this rash all over my skin was a reaction to the medication. I didn't know, but kind of long story short, it was basically the start of my bowel perforating. My bowel perforated in February 2017. 4 or 5 days before it actually perforated. I actually saw a Crohn specialist, and he actually told me there was nothing wrong with me.
Wow.
So you can imagine that the lead up to that point was so massive for my mental health. I was constantly worrying.
Yeah.
And I totally
your wife as well.
Yeah, she was, I said, I think a friend of mine, I remember having a conversation with him, and I just said, I feel so low. No one wants to listen to me. And it was just no one wanted to accept, accept that I didn't want to go anywhere, because I felt like, I thought, oh, is it part of my mental health? And and it's like all these build up, but it was actually a bit of both. It was anxiety, because the fact I was anxious because I was becoming really unwell. And as I said, my bowel perforated, and then I was sat in a hospital bed, basically told that your bowel's perforated and you got 48 hours to live, basically. Wow. So you can imagine that obviously how I felt.
That's a massive shock, isn't it?
Yeah, and it's just saying,
like a flick of a switch.
Yeah, it's because at the time you're thinking, well, what? So he said, because I remember they got the forms, and they said, will you sign this form to go into surgery? Because I said, well, and they said, can you read the small print and all this about you possibly dying? I said, well, I'm going to die anyway. I'm going to die.
You want to go through all that?
I'm going to die anyway. You've already said.
How do you deal with that in your head, though? Like suddenly just bang.
Well, at the time, it didn't sink in,
Yeah.
It's the aftermath of it. It was the aftermath of how that happening to me, how it's made me conscious, always anxious, always worried about what's going to happen tomorrow.
What's going to happen to you?
Yeah, because it's like any twinge or anything that I'll think, why my blood's wrong, or all these things now have accumulated to me basically don't know where to turn, and I
deal with that every day of your life.
Yeah, and I become really angry, because I get angry with myself.
Yeah.
I get angry because the fact I'm so frustrated of what happened to me, but frustrated that the fact it's left me feeling
that way.
Really, well, I just said, everyone will suffer low points after things like that. I think after it happened, I was unfortunately, a lump formed on my stomach after the surgery, which I went to like A&E, and they said, it's like a hematoma from the surgery, which is like a fatty tissue built up. And they said, don't worry, take antibiotics, everything be fine. Well, 2 weeks later, that materialised that it was another abscess that formed, and it blew, and then this time it didn't blow through my bowel, but I had a weak spot from the surgery, which is my scar tissue, and it blew through my stomach. Me and my wife were actually in Gloucester on a weekend away, and I said, I don't feel well. I thought, and you feel embarrassed because
body knows, doesn't
you want to put that off?
Because just like, because I felt embarrassed because we hadn't really, had time away. We had to cancel our holiday because of my illness. And
that's
I felt
a worry on top there.
Yeah, and I'm worried now, thinking,
do I feel like you're letting them down as well?
Yeah, I said, do I tell her? Do I tell her how I'm feeling? Like I'm feeling really, really, because when I get really anxious, I get very nauseous, and I sometimes do vomit. In certain circumstances, and I was like, do I tell her? And we stopped at a pub on the way up, and I remember it was I think it's Swansea versus Man United away when Sigurdsson scored, and obviously, and I remember it was in this pub, he scored, and I didn't celebrate, and she said, what's wrong with you? And I just said, I just don't feel right. And she said, should we turn the car around? And I said, look, we've come too far now. I think I need a rest. So we went and anyway, cut the long story short, I said to the woman in the hotel, I said, just to let you know, I said, I don't feel great, so I'll possibly going home tomorrow, because it was like a couple of nights stay,
Yeah.
And she said, no worries. Next thing you know, I've gone to sleep, and I just felt, when you feel like it's like, I don't know, it's like someone was chucking water at you, and I thought, what's that? And as I pulled back the sheets, this thing had blown through my stomach, and it was like a fountain. And obviously so my wife rang the ambulance, and to be told, the ambulance will be there 4-5 hours. And in the end, it was affecting my breathing, because I could imagine that my anxiety, which is the biggest thing I suffer with, was just like causing all these issues.
Control it.
I couldn't control it. I just couldn't. I was like having a panic attack because this thing was coming out my stomach. I was getting blood bigger and bigger and bigger. And then I ended up, I know it sounds weird again with your mental health and how you react to things. It's like when I got to the Gloucester hospital, one of the things I said in the morning after they said, look, you got to go back to Morriston, looks like you've got to have further surgery. And I know it sounds really weird, because it was like, I said to him, what have you got for breakfast, yeah? Me thinking of my grub, And he said, we'll give you a piece of toast. And I went, oh, fantastic. Because in Morriston, I said, they don't give you anything like that. And it's like weird now that I was your mind is just trying to think of the small positive.
Yeah.
Focus on something else as well.
And that is what I've been trying to focus on since all these things, you know. But I didn't know who to turn to, you know. And I was like, you know,
did you very much feel alone at that time, even though you had people around you? Did you feel it was on your own?
I felt on my own because people didn't like. And I'll be honest with you. I speak to family members now who don't believe in mental health. I've been told to man up.
Yeah.
Many a times.
We just used to get on with it in our day, sort of thing.
And it is a massive, you know, issue with society today, isn't it?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And like you say, I think a lot of people do believe that some people make it up, or they kind of, you know, say, I've got this.
You're just having a bad day, but then, and that's it.
Yeah. Well, as I said, I think someone said to me that I've had enough of people using mental health now as an excuse. I mean, again, and it's like, to make a flippant comment like that.
That's the problem, isn't it?
And to make him flip, you don't realise how that impacts on the person you're saying that to, you know, and that's when, you know, like I chucked myself back into work, and I was trying to focus on becoming well, and then, you know, trying to focus on new medication to make me well. And, you know, the things have just, you know, made me feel better, but then made like a medication I was on, I had like, one of these like anaphylactic reactions. Yeah. I was like, bang, hit my mental health. Like I was back to like thinking, hang on, back down. Yeah, because I thought I got it under control, and then bang, I'm back to square one again, feeling like, you know.
And that's a frightening situation, isn't it?
Yeah,
to be in.
It's just I just felt really lonely, like, you know. I felt that it was like, you know, I gotta say, a lot of people, you know, going back, people don't understand what Crohn's is either. You know, and it's like, I speak to people now, and you guys might not fully understand it, because well, basically Crohn's is your immune system, and your immune system is leaving messages off and attacking you, and basically eating away at your bowel. So it's just your immune system is having messages from your brain, which are being sent wrong signals, and that because of that, it's actually eating away at your bowel. And so what happened with me is that it was constantly attacking my bowel, so my bowel became so inflamed. So it came inflamed, it had nowhere to go, and your bowel is massive, right? So it was like constantly like rubbing against each other, rubbing, and that's when it formed the abscess. And then you had an abscess in between all this inflammation, and it's looking to get out. Where's it going to go? So in the end, it attacks your bowel, and it blew through the bowel. And obviously on the second surgery, they actually had to cut away 52 centimetres of my bowel. Wow. And that is when I was like, hang on, you know, this is, you know, this is serious. And when someone tells you then, oh, the likelihood is you're going to get surgeries, 4-5 surgeries down the line, you might, you know, and it was like, having news like that, it just blew my mind. It's just, you know, because I didn't really know what it was.
How has this happened? Like, where's it come from?
Why has it happened to me? And that's another thing. Why is this happening to me?
You always wonder why it's happening to you.
Why is it happening to me? Like, you know, what have I done wrong?
And then you kind of look for the ways that you can get out of it, but you can't sometimes.
At the beginning, it's all negativity in it. Yeah. Because everything you think is the worst thing's going to happen.
Yeah, so that's when I started, like, started doing a lot of training to, like, you know, try to get me physically a bit more fit. Because my weight is, I've always struggled with my weight, and that's another thing that affects your mental health. And then people are like, oh, yeah, you just do this and do that. But it's like, well,
as if it's that easy.
I'll be honest with you, I have stages now where I'm scared to eat, because if I start eating, I can't stop eating.
Right.
You know, so I try to, like, all right, if I don't eat now up to this point, I'm not eating, I skip meals and stuff. Yeah. And it's like, and that's all part of your mind, is it? And I still struggle, especially with the medication I'm on. Yeah. And then the medication then, you know, so you have one specialist telling you, right, don't eat that, because it affects this. So it's like, so I get told by people, can you eat more fruit and fibre? Can you eat more veg? Well, I can, but I got Crohn's disease. Yeah. And if it really, because I've been told you can't eat a lot of that stuff because it makes you feel. And what did I do? I started eating and listening to these people, and I became really unwell. You know, and it's like a constant worry of your emotions, and I still worry about it. And it's like you talk to people like people like dietitians and stuff, and they struggle to understand, because they say, well, you tell me to eat these things, but that makes me unwell. Yeah. They say, well, eat that then. Well, if I eat that then affects my liver, because obviously Crohn's has also affected my liver, which is one of the reasons why I actually stopped drinking alcohol. Because alcohol, again, I found... I thought when you're younger, let's get on it, and you don't realise, you take a step back, even though that I've never had an issue with alcohol, thankfully. A lot of people do when they turn to alcohol as a...
Especially when you're younger, isn't it?
Yeah, because people... Yeah, because, when you're drinking, whatever. But when you get older and you take a step back thinking, I'm going out tonight, do I need it?
Yeah.
And because of my issues, I thought, well, I've got all these, I've got Crohn's disease. It's damaged my liver, which is a major organ in you. Everything goes through your liver. Do I really want to put my liver under any more pressure than it is? So I stopped it. I know it's like flippant to say that because some people can't.
Do you think the frightening of what happened to you helped you to stop then? Like this.
I know what you mean. It's just the fact that I think it was where I just looked at the bigger picture. I got a young daughter, and I'm thinking to myself, do I really need this?
So put my body through any more pressure.
I got enough things going on. Do I really need? But I can see why people turn to alcohol who are suffering and feeling low, because people do. They do turn to alcohol, don't they? And
that's right.
And that is when, some people can't get out of it. Some people can with help. Yeah. When people follow their, go to AA and follow the steps and stuff like that. And that's also, it can be a guide for mental health also.
Yeah.
Taking one day at a time, and having that support, having like a support network. And that is, it's very similar, isn't it? Always having that support,
I think that's like an essential thing for people to get through these things, is to have that network around. Oh yeah. To help you.
It's about spending time with like-minded people. But the key, as I said, as we've discussed before we came on, talking is massive.
Yeah.
And it's like I went to a counsellor, I'll be honest with you. I went to a counsellor saying, right, and she just listened. She listened. I was like, you gonna say anything back to me? She didn't say anything back to me. She was just writing notes down. Mm-hmm. And then she was like trying to, but even though that I didn't find her helpful for me because I wanted someone to talk to, bounce off. But she did point out the major things that have happened in my life, because some people haven't got a trigger for mental health, right? Some people haven't got a trigger. Yeah. People think, why does it happen to me? And it's like sometimes it is nothing. Sometimes it's just, end of the day, it's just part of your setup. That's how your brain works.
Yeah.
But like for me, I can see now when she wrote down, said, right, I can see how these things, like in 2019, both my grandfathers passed away, and that was a real knockback to the way I was feeling. I felt extreme.
I remember that time when you...
Yeah, because you did a picture for me, didn't you? And it was like lost them both within 19 days, and there was like...
You could tell he was close just looking at the picture.
My heroes, and it's just like, I'm not really, I gotta say, I thought again, you got one thing sorted in your life. You've got that under control. You've started talking, and then a major thing happens in your life.
Yeah.
Bang.
Two major things,
Yeah. As I said, it was just like, don't get me wrong, they were a fair age, and we're lucky to have them for so long, but when it happened, it was just such a major effect on the way my thought process went again. How dark I felt,
You went backwards again then, was it?
Yeah, I did. But then I stopped talking. Because I was like, I just wanted to be on my own, and that's when I get really worked up, and I snap at people and stuff like that.
It's very dark, isn't it?
Yeah, it's like, I think one person said, well, it was expected, wasn't it? Well, but regardless of whenever someone
change the way I feel about it.
It's
when you're so close to somebody and then suddenly losing them, it's like everything seems to go black then, doesn't it?
Yeah, and as I said, that's why I was lucky. Really, I had a good support network, and the main one for me was Paul Rees, and Paul was, had been a a good friend of mine for a long time.
Yeah.
You know, and he suffers, with his mental health, which, when hopefully if you get him on on
you have to get him on.
Maybe I'll come on with him or whatever.
That'd be brilliant.
He's got such a fantastic outlook on regards to mental health and how he deals with it and copes with it.
Yeah.
And that's when he started doing the walk and talk for men for Swansea.
Yeah.
And he said, would I like to come along? And I went, oh, okay, I don't know if I'm going to be able to talk to strangers, I'll be honest. But it was exercise. It was getting me out in the fresh air. And I got to say that, we've walked some great places, you just don't realise just getting the fresh air, and you, and then, mind, and you, when people, I've been going to them all, enough, apart from, the odd one here and there where, like, I had surgery again, unfortunately, last year, but so I was out of action for a while, but I missed it. And I thought, when you miss something, I'm thinking, oh, right, okay, it must be doing me good.
Doing you good, yeah, exactly.
And it's fantastic, you have like, you have people come and they don't have to you don't have to actually talk about anything if you don't want to. You can just come along.
Just walk.
But it's great, because you've got people coming along who have felt that they're on their own, and now they feel that we've got a support network. And what Paul did, he set up like a WhatsApp group. So he set ground rules and said, look, this is a mental health group. So, he said, because some groups you're in and people send photographs or they send videos. Well, you don't know how that's going to affect someone's mental health. Yeah. So what we said is, look, there's the ground rules. You put things in which are positive, how people are setting up meetings, have a chat or go for another walk. That's great, but then if you want to speak to someone personally, obviously you can, you can just select which person and send them a personal message, and it's been brilliant. And we've had people of all ages, all sort of different backgrounds, all different sort of mental health, people who've had depression, people bipolar, and it's been a massive positive change, and especially for men, because it's men that don't
like to talk.
They don't talk, do they?
No,
we don't talk. We're all like this now. We're in the pub. We're all like.
That's why the numbers are higher in men, isn't it?
You all put the mask on, don't you? You put the mask on. It's like, and it's like, that's what I was doing for years. See, like I mentioned you earlier. I was doing comedy with Paul Allen, and he was like, put the mask on. Always the laugher and the joker.
Someone else.
It's just like, oh. Fancy a pint, mate? What are you having, mate?
Yeah.
What are you having? Always be, it's like...
It's when that's over then, isn't it? That you find...
Yeah, when you go home, though. When you go home, then you're thinking, like, bang.
Back to normal now.
It's like, here we go again, and then you think, right, okay, what do I got to do something tomorrow now to... It's like, and I still do things like that now, but I do things like I have to set myself, like I have to have things to look forward to. Yeah. That's part of my thing, is like, if I got nothing to look forward to, that's where I struggle. If there's nothing on the cards, but I know, but say a lot of people think differently. Where some people think, right, waking up every day is, that's their thing. Every day is that. Everyone has different things to, to look forward to. But me, I was like, all right, okay. Like for me, it's my music, comedy. I'm massive Only Fools and Horses fan.
Yeah, and
it's like weird. It's like I was desperate to go last weekend to watch, because to meet my hero, David Jason, is my comedy hero.
Yeah.
But then you see photographs of it, and then your mental health kicks back in, and it's like it made me feel quite low, really, because the fact that I was happy for the people who went to meet him, but then you're thinking from a selfish point of view, oh, why wasn't that me? Like, why wasn't that me going to see him? Why couldn't And it's like, unfortunately, it was one of those things, I couldn't commit to it. It was a lot of money, and the money I want to spend on on my young family, and it's, I couldn't justify it, when
that's a credit to him.
It's, you got to make decisions you got to make decisions which might affect your mental health, but you got to look at I took my daughter to Butlins a couple of weeks ago, and I'd rather spend the money going there than...
That's a positive then.
Because it's memories I'm going to, of her growing up,
Yeah, and those are the precious times, aren't they?
Definitely.
Yeah, and I thought by doing what I did was a good thing. Actually, I hope and believe it's a good thing, but then for my mind, it was a bad thing for the weekend. But then, even if I had gone, I'd have had that real high, But then, like, I spoke to people this week who've been on a massive low now, because they've had looked forward to that for so long, meeting their hero. And another Crohn friend of mine, I talked to him because I have a support network for Crohn's.
Yeah.
And funny enough, he was a Fools and Horses fan at the same time, so it was brilliant. Like, and he said that he's been really ill, and he said he's been looking forward to meeting David Jason. And he said that he really struggled all day, you know, because the fact it's such a long day, he had to queue up to meet them. He said he physically wasn't strong enough.
Yeah.
You know, and then he said when he met him, then he was on this massive high. I spoke to him today. I said, how are you feeling now? He said, I'm on a massive low. Yeah. I'm on a low now because I've met him. I've done my dream for the last 30 years is to meet David Jason.
What do I do next? Like?
What's the next? That's what I find a lot of people is that when they do things,
it's coming back to reality, isn't it?
Yeah.
When they go back to reality, that is when their mental health starts again.
Stuff like that.
It's like, and that's why Paul's group, as I said, it's been a major thing for me. It's been major. It's been a lifesaver for many, many people, you know. And that's when, you know, through my work, I brought Paul in because I felt that he got a fantastic story to tell, which that's why I hope he can come on here because his story is, you know,
we'd love to hear from Paul, definitely.
And he spoke in front of men and women.
Yeah.
I know he was just trying to, and it's amazing how some women, even the women watching him, took his story away from what their brother or husband, boyfriend experienced.
It might not be them themselves, it might be a family member.
And the amount of people that contacted him, and I said, and that's why really, you know, anyone who's listening to this, Paul Rees is on Facebook. His messenger's always open.
Yeah.
You know, is a group, as I said, called Walk and Talk Swansea, Mental Health for Men's Mental Health. Yeah. You know, it's a group you can join. You can see all the updates. You can contact Paul that way. Because I said we encourage anyone to come along to these walks.
I'll put some links down on.
We'll promote it as well.
Yeah, if you don't mind. I said, Paul, we do like a walk. Normally it's once a month. But there are others. It's like they got the Marauders in Port Talbot.
Yeah.
And I think, you know, for people who need more support. Yeah. And I think I'm sure they do things daily. So they do daily walks, or they do daily challenges. Yeah, and that's another, you know, I've never been on one of their walks, but apparently they're fantastic as well. And again, you know, this daily support. Some people need it. Yeah. Some people don't need daily support, but it's at least then you've got different options.
That's right.
You know, it's different options of what is your need. Like for me, you know, I like going out for walks and having a chat, and I try to do it once a month with the boys, and you know, but I try to do it with other people as well.
Yeah.
And I actually took up playing. I used to play golf. I used to play golf quite badly years ago, and I'm playing golf quite badly again now. But again, that's been like my thing to help my mental health. And through the pandemic, when the pandemic hit, right, I was like, oh my God, you know, I had to work from home, and I was like literally seeing the same four walls, and I was like,
a lot of people,
and I really struggled, you know, and I really struggled. And amazingly now, I've been doing it for 2 years, and now I'm going to go back into an office environment. But I've actually got to the stage now I actually enjoy it because I've learned how to deal with it. Like, you know, to cope with it and cope with that environment. Yeah. And now I'm feeling like, I got the anxiety. I got the anxious again now. I got the anxiety of going back into an office environment. I'm thinking, I hope no one's going to come really close to me.
Yeah.
I hope that, you know, because it's like I've had my own space. You know? But that was one of the reasons I took back the golf again, because I was not seeing people. Yeah. And again, got me playing going out in the out in the fresh air, exercise, and again, it was a major thing.
I guess all positive on it.
You got something to focus on.
Yeah, 100%.
You got something to focus on, and I played loads last year, and then I had to go in for further surgery, and Crohn's complications and a hernia and stuff. Oh, and it hit me for 6, and I was sitting there in the hospital bed thinking, oh, I'm really missing it. Really miss golf, and then they advise you can't do anything strenuous, or can't carry your back, can't carry clubs, you can't do this for a few months. I was like, then it's winter time. I know winters, I don't know about you guys, but when it's so dark, that plays on my mind. It is depressing.
We get a lot of it over here as well.
Exactly.
Some people love it, but I'm with you. I can't.
As soon as the sun comes out, it's a different mood.
It's just like, it's like, you're literally waking up and it's dark and and then when you come home from whatever you've been at work, or it's dark again. And it's like, it's about a coping mechanism.
Yeah.
How do you, I know someone that used to have like a lamp, like an extra light by there, because a lot of people suffer with the SAD sort of thing.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've ever heard of it. It's like where the actual, weather and dark conditions do affect your mood.
Yeah.
So it's again, it's about trying to adapt yourself really to different times of year, and it's all for me. But I said anything I can do is I always set my things like, right, okay, I'm gonna do this month or this week or today or something.
So you're looking forward to doing that, aren't you?
Yeah, and that's what I do. I just set myself
goals, isn't it?
I'm gonna see Liam Gallagher next week, and I just can't wait. Next Friday, I know this time next week I'm going to be in Nebworth, watching one of my heroes. I just wish I was allowed to go when I was 15, but I never forgive my mother for that. not allowing me to go and see probably the biggest gig.
Yeah, you can't go back. That's the problem, isn't it?
At least you get into it now.
Well, it's the closest thing, really. I just hope he sings Rock and Roll Star because he didn't do it. He did amazingly, one of their best songs, and they didn't sing it in Nebworth. And I still don't know why. Maybe they just. Yeah, maybe the narcotics was a bit too much.
Maybe for this one, though.
I just can't wait. And then he's playing. And then so I booked again something to look forward to. Because he's playing in Cardiff Bay in September. So I got tickets for that as well today. So it's only, just things like something to look forward to, things that, and just like, especially now with another thing which is going to be, we're going to see is this cost of living crisis and the pressures on people's, and how it's going to affect people's mental health.
Already, it's all over Facebook. The prices have they got twice as much as they usually pay.
And as I said, that's what I said to someone, I can't remember what it was. And I just said, we've got to be in this together. And it's like, if you can spare, I don't know, 20, 30 quid to say a friend says to you, I'm really struggling, everyone's got to be there to support each other, and it's like, my mother's a pensioner and she's really, really worried.
Yeah.
And
especially the winter time for them as
well. And I know they've brought in small measures now, which, is too little, too late, in my opinion. Yeah. People have already felt the pinch. People have already felt the pressure. People's mental health has already been affected. You've just gone through a pandemic, right?
And then straight into that.
You've gone through 2 years of a major, hopefully a once in a lifetime event. And, when they would say, great at the time, giving everyone furlough money, but it's paying it back, isn't it? Now people are getting smashed. And I know that some things are out of their hands regards to the war and stuff, but the issues are already there.
That's right.
And it's, the cost of living is going to make a massive effect on mental health. It's going to be a massive effect on the poorest people of our society. Yeah. And then what's going to happen? Mental health, it's not enough money in mental health support as it is. Yeah. And this is going to be, we're going to see even more pressure on the NHS on those services, and that's another thing which people really don't do. There's not enough money raised to get the extra support, because when you go to GPs about it, you speak to GPs and they're like, no disrespect, but they're the jack of all trades, master of none. And they got to hang on. Well, when you got 10-15 minutes, we can't really speak about a lot of things in that period of time. You
feel rushed then, doesn't it?
Yeah. Go to CBT. Could do that. And some people will, and some people
panic. But you go to ring this number. Some people can't pick up the phone and say, dial this and speak to a stranger.
That's one of the fears.
And they go on. There's a number to ring.
Like these CBT courses and stuff. Might be. I'm guessing that they are really good, and I have looked at it, and it's like there's an online thing where I get more beneficial of doing things like speaking to people face to face. You can see that people are out with their reactions, and that's how that's
easier. Isn't it?
See, I find it easier. It's like anything. I don't really absorb reading things. Where listening and talking it's like pick up so much. It's like I like listening to books. I listen to books, and because I absorb like Tyson Fury, the things that he went through.
That's exactly what I've been.
And you think, oh, how can the heavyweight champion of the world be suffering with all these things? He's got £75 million in the bank, and it's at the end of the day, it doesn't make a difference. We're all human beings. We're all human beings, and you just like you read the things that some people have been through in regards to like their mental health, and you think, like, snooker world champion Ronnie O'Sullivan.
All walks of life.
Yeah, he got everything. He got everything, and it's like it does. It's like you had the boy who died, the singer who died a couple of years ago, took his own life. And it's like all these different things, and people just don't and think, oh yeah, just because they're famous, they got loads of money, they ain't got any problems.
That doesn't
same as everyone else.
And that's I gotta say, right, the thing I find has increased people's mental health is social media.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And the abuse people have on social media is just ridiculous. Yeah. And it's like these trolls abusing people.
Yeah.
And because they're famous, that gives you the right to abuse them, is it?
Yeah.
Abuse them because they, like, this girl put a picture up of herself. She looked stunning, But Instagram again is a very thing. It's a thing where I think they've put a thing in now where I think it's like it'll actually tell you if it's a filter or not.
Yeah.
Because again, how that affects not just not just men or whatever, because men think, oh my God, look at her beer, and then comparing them, looking at his girlfriend and wife, thinking, why didn't you look like that?
Yeah.
But how it affects young girls, how young girls then, obviously with their mental health, because they
see themselves,
because they're thinking, all right, well, I want lips like that, or I want this and that, and it's like, I just think it can really open a can of worms. That's why I really think that, I know it's very hard to police how I think should be an adult on social media. Where,
it's like chasing the perfect life, isn't it?
Yeah. Everyone looks at it and think, oh, why haven't I got that?
Yeah, and if they haven't got what that person got, they're gonna have a go for.
Especially if you are already suffering with mental health and you see something that knocks you back.
Yeah.
That puts you in a dark place again.
Yeah, and it's like, your brain plays tricks with you and stuff. And you're thinking, and then I know people, a troll go through their Facebook and thinking, oh, hang on, why didn't that person like it? Yeah. What have I done to them? And then they start overthinking it. Yeah. And I'm thinking, hang on, your next thing you've a small thing, person might not have even seen your status, or they might not, they might not know, whatever, for whatever reason, but some people just look at it and think, and make a mountain or a molehill, but that's your mental health.
Yeah.
And then your mental health then deteriorates. And it is like a like culture, isn't it now? Where people do things on social media just to get likes. Like I want to, especially like, as I said, people taking pictures of themselves or or putting things up. It's like, I call it brag book, I think I called it the other day. Because people, I said, I know I'm not going to obviously name names, but what a person goes on there just to brag about every single thing that they've, or look at me, look what I've done.
I got up at 8 today.
Oh, I smashed it today and stuff like that. And I'm this, that, and the other, and it's like, all right.
When really behind it all, they could be.
Is that? And that's what I must say. Are they doing it because, again, this mask? It's this, they're portraying their life as one thing.
They could be on their own, be lonely, and that's all they got to do, isn't it?
And that's true. And it is a thing where people paint it like a mask, and then it's a thing where let's put this mask on now, and and let's portray myself as this person, but really, they just crying for help, and they.
I think we were lucky when we grew up. Around the times we grew up is like 80s, 90s.
Yeah,
we didn't have the social media.
No, mobile phones.
We were always outside,
Mobile phones, and that's one thing. When I go and play golf, I think to myself, God, I'm looking at my phone for 4 hours. That's brilliant.
That's just saying, it's fine people's heads.
Where otherwise, it's like every 10, 15 minutes, I'm like, all right, does anyone message me?
Yeah.
So I don't want to miss a message. Where years ago, like I don't think I had a mobile phone until I was like 18 or something. It's a massive like brick Motorola thing.
Motorola orange.
I think I had 20. I think I had £20 credit. I think £20 credit lasted me about 9 months or something.
Rubber keys.
Yeah, like I try to remember texting people. I guess I remember thinking, oh great. So my mother said, well, you've got to get a mobile phone, and I remember texting her, say, what are you watching?
Capital letters.
And then about 3 hours later, I was watching EastEnders. And I said, did you enjoy it? And basically, we were in the same room texting each other. You know what I mean? It's like, what is going on? Like, it was just like you didn't have all these pressures of social media, pressures of mobile phone, and it's like these kids.
It's like on computers, isn't it?
Like it's like these kids are getting phones younger and younger, and I'm thinking, oh, it makes me feel.
It's uneasy, isn't it?
It makes me feel like, when you get to like teenager, and you've got a mobile phone for emergencies, but once they click on that internet, it just opens everything up, doesn't it?
Yeah.
I think it changes your character as well.
Yeah.
Because one minute you're all like a little kid innocent and, playing with your mates or whatever. And then the next thing you're on the phone and like 3 hours gone past. You haven't seen any of your mates.
It's just
stuck inside.
It's just once you're on the phone, it's once the Google is there, it just opens it up to anything. You type in anything in there. And it opens a whole world of
can of worms.
And it's like and obviously it can affect, especially when you're going through puberty and stuff like that as kids, especially with girls. Like girls obviously start a lot younger than boys, and they emotionally start changing. And it's like this, and then these things are coming up and thinking all these pressures, thinking, oh God, and they're looking at all these things, and it's just the pressures on kids these days.
Yeah.
It's massive, isn't it?
I don't know if I'd be able to. I don't think if I went back and I lived in now as a kid, I don't know if I'd be able to cope with it.
Yeah, it is a frightening
the pressures, like it's it's
and it's the after effect as well, isn't it? Because like when you look at the lockdown, all those kids who had to stay in, through the lockdown.
And another thing which I've been watching things about different people and reading up on like people who've got gambling problems, and obviously gambling problems can result in major mental health issues. People like Paul Merson. I was watching the Paul Merson thing, and he's just during the first lockdown, I think he gambled his mortgage money away. They were saving money. Like they rented accommodation. He was saving money to get a deposit because he's lost like I think it's like 7-8 million or something. So he's got a new marriage. He's got a woman that supports him. And lockdown came, and next thing you know, he's online gambling again. Yeah. Because it's just...
It's a vicious circle.
And that's another thing. On top of social media, you've got these apps then. You can just download an app. It's not like years ago, right? Oh, God, can I be bothered to walk to a Buggies? Can I be bothered to get on a bus to go to a Buggies?
I know, you just wouldn't do it.
Oh, I can't be bothered. And now it's like, of course, just download this app then. Download the app and you've got everything there. You got like virtual games. You got poker. You got blackjack. You got this. And it's just like you can put money on anything. Yeah. And that is another, especially with mental health, that is another thing which I'm guessing in the last couple of years since with the lockdown has increased all the problems as well. I think it's a vicious circle.
When I was in a really bad situation recently, like I just wanted a friend to come and speak with me. Yeah. And I just remember sitting in the garden. I hadn't been out for months, scared to even speak to anybody. Didn't think I could face the world anymore. Yeah. And along comes Gary. Like we were in nursery all of us.
Oh, right, yeah.
Comes along. And I got to be honest, that changed everything for me. Yeah. And I often think that, like, do these people need just a friend to, like, stand by them and go, I can see you suffering. Yeah. How can we...
And that's a big thing, it's about again, talking. Yeah. It's about opening up. And don't be ashamed of how you're feeling, whatever the reason why you're feeling it. As I said, some people haven't got anything, one particular thing why you feel like that. Like I have. I know that there have been things in my life which has affected me and how I feel.
Yeah.
You know, but some people haven't got that trigger.
Got it, no.
Some people just, haven't got it. They, it's not one particular thing. It's just the fact that, and some people are ashamed. They are ashamed, and it's, and then I've had conversations with people who said, don't take medication, don't take this, don't take that. Well, okay, medication isn't for everyone, and it's down to but at the end of the day, your brain is a muscle.
Yeah.
So if you say, I don't know, what would you do if you broke your arm? You'd have a plaster to support you, wouldn't you? Yeah. You'd go up to the hospital. Painkillers, whatever. But you'd have the plaster cast.
Yeah.
Well, sometimes your brain needs that support as well.
That's right. Yeah.
And there's different ways of supporting your brain. And if you think medication would do that, well, do it.
Got to do what's best for you.
You've got to do what's the best for you. I made the decision not to take it. I wanted to do things to help myself do the other things. Yeah. I went to I did a lot of meditation. I went to that temple up in Swansea and stuff like that. I went there meditating, and I found that really helped. And sometimes I do still do things, like elements of it now, but never be ashamed of asking for help, and never be ashamed of if you think that medication is the right thing to do, then do it.
Yeah. Definitely.
But it's got to be your decision. Yeah. It can't be anyone else's decision. I've had advice saying, you should be taking this. Well, I choose not to. I put enough stuff in my body for my Crohn's, and I feel that, that's effect, because I don't want to put another thing into the element where that could affect my Crohn's meds, or could affect this, so I'm happy trying to deal with the way I deal with it.
Which is do that, to be honest, because some people, be honest, myself, I haven't been able to do everything that I wanted to do, straight away. Yeah. But I think I look at it now as the way of, just trying each day to do something. Yeah. Something small.
Yeah, but it's small steps.
Yeah.
You've been through a real tough time. Yeah. Which, when I've messaged you about it before and stuff like that, and I was gutted that I didn't see any signs, even though I'm not a close friend to you. We have been friends for a long time.
Yeah.
But no one did know, I think, would they?
And that's the thing, see, because you put a mask on.
Yeah.
The mask, Smiling.
Smile,
always smiling, laughing, joking.
But
I think it came from, like you said, going back earlier, when you said about rock stars, where they seem to have everything.
Yeah.
I was very much similar to that, because with the Juzu Kings band, playing on a weekend, massive crowds.
Yeah.
Seeing them all enjoying themselves.
Yeah.
Thinking, this is the life.
Yeah.
And then I go home and I'd be wanting more.
Yeah.
I'd want more of that feeling.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden my voice just went. Yeah. I couldn't sing like I wanted to.
Yeah.
Something had happened with my voice, and then suddenly it was what do I do now?
Yeah.
A bit like Paul Gascoigne with the football.
Yeah.
Where, loved football. That was his thing. Go out and play. And then, nothing. Suddenly nothing.
And that,
And it's
that's what happens, see? That's what people worry about, is when you stop things.
What am I going to do now?
And that is when it's try to bring in different things to get that feeling. Yeah. And that's why it's always good to have more than one hobby or one thing to focus on.
For other hobbies, get more positive type of things.
Yeah, because it's I as I said, my wife goes mental because I got a massive trainer collection. I just love trainers, right? I just different colours for this. But it's but I collect only fools and horses stuff, and I play golf, but I love my music. I love this and I love that. And it's it drives her nuts. But it's she doesn't realise the feeling that I get when I speak to Fools and Horses fans, or I get this. I've been searching for a Del Boy's cigar jar for years.
Yeah.
I've always wanted one. And they're just like very rare. You don't really see many of them, you know, especially in this area.
Yeah.
But then someone give me the opportunity to get one. And I'm thinking, oh God, can I justify that money?
Yeah.
See
but
the van parked outside now there.
Do you think that's a massive part of it? Because what I believe is that, like you said there, if you get the support of people that are thinking, this makes this person happy.
Yeah.
Like, if somebody sees that in you and supports you with that, do you feel then that that's something that would bring you to be more like open with people? And
it's just like, you know, people think, oh God, why have you got more of them? Or you don't need to have any more fools and horses stuff, or you don't need this, you don't need that. But I say, well, you know, people say, oh, what do you want for your book? I say, oh, give me fools and horses, something. I think, oh God. But I said, you don't realise that, you know, that makes me happy.
Yeah.
You know, and that's why these little things, you know, like I think my birthday last year, my brother bought me a golf trolley. I loved it because it's like something I really, you know, I feel a bit, oh God, you just like when people buy you stuff and it's like, when you look at it thinking, I feel bad, like, because I feel bad because I can't show the emotion. I can't show like, someone bought me, like, I don't know, someone came here now and bought me a bloody Lamborghini.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, nice one. But if you came in here with like a Del Boy mug, I'm like, oh, that's fantastic! Look at that! That is amazing. Look at yeah. No.
Sometimes it's the small things, isn't it?
It's not about exactly. It's all about the small things, and it's about people knowing you.
Yeah.
You know, it's like someone tagged me in something the other day, and it's like, look at this, you love this, and it was Fools and Horses.
Yeah.
And I met Phil Pope, who played Tony Angelino in Stage Fright, when he's the famous Quine, when he came on here, because no one knew he could not pronounce his R's and stuff. And then I was sent a video of it the day on the morning I was going to see him in the Fools and Horses convention in the village a couple of months ago. And he was on stage and he was singing it for the first time since then. Wow. He's never actually gone on a stage to sing since recording Fools and Horses.
Wow.
He said, amazing. You think that everyone would ask him
all the time.
But he said that was his, and the woman who was like singing with him, she actually stopped singing. She was crying. She was just like, you know, and that then now having that sent to me,
that's brilliant.
Bang. I was like, that's just, it was just amazing. And when I went to the convention, I talked to him about it and he was just like, it was just a small thing, innit, really?
Of course.
But that was meant so much to me to be sent it and actually seeing someone that, you know, who I've grown up watching, watching that episode over and over. And it's just all small things, isn't it? Just small things. It doesn't, as I said, doesn't have to be big things. People say, oh, you know, I want this, I want that. That doesn't really float my boat, really.
I'm very much the same. I think they've taken a lot for granted in life, to be honest, because, like, when I look back to what we had with the band and stuff all the time, you know, we were getting popular.
Yeah.
And getting more gigs, blah, blah, blah.
Battle of the bands.
Winning things, and you don't realise at the time.
Yeah.
And then when it kind of stops, you suddenly think, oh my God.
What have you got?
I don't really know who I am now anymore. And
exactly, yeah.
It's a frightening place to be when you've got to try and replace something that you once had. That's
right. And it's about focusing your mind on, you've got other talents. Yeah. You know, people think, oh, I'm only one trick pony. Well, you know, you've got loads, haven't you? Oh, yeah. You've got loads of things. Say, well, I can do this. You know, yes, you know, you say about your voice, you still can play guitar. Yeah, you know, which is it's more than I can do. You can sit, you know, your drawings, your artwork, all these different things that it's just like you're not you have got all these different things, but at the time when you are suffering, you can't see that. All you can see is that one thing that you're good at is being taken away.
Yeah.
But really, you're thinking, when you take a step back, when you are in a better place and you are in a better place to assess, you know, you think, well, hang on, I can do this.
But like, I look at the world now as it's the small things in life that I think mean more to me now.
Yeah.
And they always have.
Yeah.
It's just that because I was doing different things before with the band, and it kind of like, it took me all that time to realise that really I believe in life. It's the small things, like your family, your friends.
Yeah.
You know?
Exactly.
People who can talk with you, like, can make you see differently about the world.
It's like they. I don't know if when you saw the thing about those people who won the Euro Millions, and everyone was talking about. Everyone was saying, "Oh, wonder what they're going to spend the money on." And I thought it differently, and I thought, hang on, how would that affect me, my mental health? Because they're thinking, I got all this money, and then you're going to have, if you give money to you, and I don't give money to you, then it's like, how are people going to think about me? What my friends and family going to think about me?
That's right.
I'm thinking, because I'm the sort of person, I don't like letting people down. I don't like upsetting people. Yeah. But I am very honest as well. And I was thinking, I started working out the other day. Who would I give money to? And I'm thinking, what am I doing? It's not even my money. Because I'm thinking, I'd just rather take that problem away. And so instead of having the argument, I just write, right, whatever your closest friends are, right, you can have all of us. No arguments then. But I'm thinking, why am I even, I haven't got it.
That's right.
But some people look at it differently, where I thought, oh my God, think of the pressure that those people are going to be under now. Yeah. And how are they going to react? How their mind are going to react? Like, I think they went out and bought a new washing machine or something. That's the first thing they bought or something. And I think another week, I couldn't get my head around. He found out like 5:30 in the morning he'd won the Euros. He thought he'd won 180 grand.
Wow.
That's how much he thought. He won. He said life changing, £180,000. And then he counted the notes. And then but amazingly, it's amazing how you react to things and how your mind works. Yeah. He didn't wake his wife up. He waited for her to get to
wake up.
He waited for her. He didn't want to disturb her. Oh. And if that was me, I'd be like, oh, I shouted from the rooftops. Yeah. But then I said, imagine that. I said, my thing, and it's all that pressure beyond that on him now. These begging letters. You're gonna have this. Yeah. You're gonna be feeling awful. You're gonna be, you got all this guilt because you've gone from a normal person to
like a family member ill and stuff like that.
Yeah.
For operations.
Oh, it's very much like you, isn't it? It's like on the other side of the coin, you suddenly changed. Your life changed.
Yeah.
So sudden, and it's the same for them.
It's the same. It's just a bang.
Yeah.
It's one of those moments where it changes overnight. Yeah.
And you have no time.
And your life will never be the same again. And it's
frightening.
Yeah. And it's frightening, regardless if it's a good or a bad thing. Yeah. Because I said for them, obviously, it's a fantastic thing. But
how do you deal with it as well?
How they deal with it, exactly.
Do you have any positive advice, Rich, for the listeners who may be feeling, lost or alone right now in the world?
There's always someone there. There's always someone who's sometimes you've got people there who listen to you and be a support network who you never think would be that person, but never be afraid really to
reach out to people.
To reach out and text, just to text people, and just say do you fancy going for a coffee, or, never be afraid. And as I said, and then, and you build up confidence.
Yeah.
When you're talking about how you're feeling, you may be, you could touch upon it, maybe mention, but always try to think, or, there's always someone there. There's always someone willing to help you.
Yeah. A 20-minute chat could just be a release for them.
Yeah.
Just
to pick up a phone and just say have we got time for a coffee? Yeah. And if you're and from my standpoint, if you're the person receiving that, and you think, everyone's got busy lives, but if a friend asks something like that, never ignore them.
Yeah.
Never ignore them.
And you're always welcome on you, Rich.
Yeah, I've really enjoyed it.
Thank you very much, man, for what you've
really enjoyed it.
Giving your experience of what you went through. It's been amazing.
Yeah, you said about music.
We do want to ask you a bonus question at the end here.
Go on, then.
Throw it away, son.
Yeah, basically, with all the guests we get on throughout the next few months, we wanted to ask them really if there was any music or songs that they go to when they're feeling, low, that uplifts them. And we were going to put a playlist together then at a later date.
I said music's been a key part of my life. A massive Beatles fan. It's all for me, John Lennon's, the greatest lyric writer the planet's ever seen. That's my best. Everyone's got their different things, and his lyrics, have always been so, things that I've, but it's, for me, one of my favourite songs.
To pick one song.
Well, it is, but it's a song I had at my wedding.
Right.
And it's just like, it was John's outlook, and it's All You Need Is Love. And it's
absolutely brilliant.
And I just think it's it's one of the greatest songs ever written.
That's a great one to start off in the show as well.
And I just think that is love is all you need, isn't it?
That is something I believe in.
That's all you need. It's love from your family, love from your friends, and it's like love from your support network. People who you can talk to. And they're showing their love by actually just listening to you. Listening to you and taking the time to listen to what you've got to say. And I just believe that, all you need is love.
That's brilliant, Richard.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for coming.
No problem. I really appreciate it. I really enjoyed it.
It means a lot. And
thanks, guys.
Hopefully this will help somebody.
Yeah, I said hopefully, I can come back on you with maybe if Paul Rees can come on.
Definitely, mate.
Because he's, I take a more step back. He can, because Paul's story is very fascinating. Listen, and he's and I said what he's done for mental health for people, men's mental health in Swansea is just remarkable. And as I said, if you get in contact with him, get on Facebook and join the group.
Yeah, I'll put the links up for him.
Put the links up, be great. Yeah, because
please send him our best, and
I will. Yeah. Thanks, guys.
We'll hopefully speak to him soon.
Thanks so much, guys.
Thank you, Richard.
Thank you, Richard.
Cheers.
That was the Never Alone Together podcast. Please like and share this episode and check out those social media links below in the description. Thank you for listening. See you next time.